Hey guys, and welcome to Girls Frontline 2. So we do have a new code. Let's redeem them here. Paste that there and click on apply. Let us see what we have. There you go. So new rewards. We do have collapsed pieces of 30, and there will be more codes in the next few days. So back to the video. So we have here Leva, and let's take a look at her kit, whether she's worth pulling or not in the next few days for our first anniversary for Global. And for her role in the electric team, she is really the hyper carry of the team. If you don't have Leva for your electric team, I don't think it will work. We have to take a look at her effects here. Starting off with her unique effects for herself, she has voltage, so electric weakness on enemies standing on it. When the enemy is standing on the tile, takes AoE damage, triggers the reaction, and removes the effect of the tile, dealing fixed damage equivalent to 30% of the attack if the AoE damage is electric or hydro, which is actually weird here. Increased damage dealt to 60% of attack. Damage doubled against large targets. The tile is considered as an electric type tile. So this is actually going to be working well with your bosses. Plus, she does have overclock strike. So this is what makes her good and why she should be last in the team's rotation. If the target stability is at 0 points, so make sure that she is, before she attacks, the boss or any target that you have already has 0 points. Additional stability damage is converted to electric damage, dealing electric damage equivalent to additional stability damage times 5% of attack. This will not trigger the effects of negative charge. This is considered as a buff and cannot be dispelled. So this is very important, especially when you are going the motion in the turn order for your team. Next is superconductive code. This is actually a unique part of her kit. You generate 4 stacks of this maximum. Increase crit by 5% and crit damage by 7. This can be stacked 4 times. When 4 stacks are accumulated, gains superconductive link for 1 round. Duration decrease at the end of the current round. This is considered an electric type buff and cannot be dispelled as well. So when you have superconductive link, increase attack by 10%. This is considered an electric type buff and cannot be dispelled. And she has Y support as well, so performs a support attack. She has paralysis and concealment. So her top 3 skills that you should take note when you're using her is overclock strike, superconductive code, which results into a superconductive link when you have 4 stacks of the code. Let's start with her skills. First and foremost, this is her basic attack. This is your usual basic attack with 80% attack of physical damage. Range is going to be 7. Next is for S1, which is rational suppression. It's an active AoE in a tile. Selects one direction, AoE electric damage equivalent to 120 attack to all targets within a 7x3 area. In the selected direction, applies negative charge for 2 turns and generates voltage tiles that last for 3 turns. So this one is going to be upgraded by her Vertebrae 4. Applies paralysis to all targets within range for 2 turns. Increases crit damage of this skill by 25%. Not really that impressive, but let's move on to the next one. Next skill is going to be her S2, which is Chaos Control. This is another AoE again. Selects a tile within a 7-tile radius and deals AoE electric damage equivalent to 100% attack to all targets within a 3-tile radius of the selected tile. Increased damage dealt by 30% and stability damage dealt by 1 point against targets with negative charge. This one is improved by her Vertebrae 2. Increases damage multiplier to 130% at the end of the action. Gains 1 stack of superconductive code. So this one is going to give her the superconductive code if you have her Vertebrae 2 on. Next is going to be her ultimate skill, Quantum Calculation. Ultimate AoE tile and a buff. Deal AoE electric damage equivalent to 60% attack to all targets within a 7-tile radius and generates voltage tiles that last for 2 for 3 turns. Leva gains Overclock Strike for 3 turns, and after attacking, Superconductive Strike can be used once. Okay, so this one, the ultimate, can be enhanced by Vertebrae 3 and Vertebrae 5. For 3, Superconductive Strike ignores 15% of the target's defense, which is actually huge, and gains 1 stack of Superconductive Code after skill usage. Damage multiplier and stability damage dealt is increased as follows. So 1 stack, 75%, up to 4 stacks, which is going to be 180% attack, from 1 to 8 stability damage. That is actually huge. So I think Vertebrae 3 is a good stopping point for her, just in case if you want to stop from V0 to V6. At V5, increase damage multiplier to 90% and cleanse all debuffs on self before attacking. Increase damage multiplier for Overclock Strike to additional stability damage by 8% of attack. Last is going to be her passive support. So this is Fox Scheme at the start of the round with triggering tile reaction for voltage tiles. Gains 1 stack of superconductive code. This is actually the reason where she is going to generate your superconductive code. If Leva has positive charge, increase electric damage by 10%. If an enemy within attack range is applied with negative charge, performs 1 instance of Y support, dealing melee electric damage equivalent to 60% attack and 1 stability damage, and increase Confectant Index by 1 point. This effect can be triggered up to twice per round. So this is improved by her Vertebrae 1, increase maximum number of instance of Y support, which is, I think, very, very crucial if the enemy with negative charge within attack range dies. Gains 1 stack of superconductive code. If Leva has positive charge, increase electrical damage by 25% instead. And at Vertebrae 6, the final one, after using Rational Suppression or Chaos Control, Superconductive Strike can be used once at the start of the turn. Gains an additional stack of superconductive code in the battle. When Leva gains 4 stacks of superconductive code, increase attack by 15%. So again, I think her stopping points would be Vertebrae 1, 3, and I think 6. She has another skill, which is Superconductive Strike. So active melee and a tile. So selects an enemy within 7 tile radius, generates voltage tiles within 1 tile radius of the selected enemy for 3 turns, and deals melee electric damage equivalent to 50% attack to it. Consumes all stacks of superconductive code. Damage multiplier and stability damage dealt is as follows. So again, this one at 1 to 4 increases from 60%, 70, 85, and 120% of attack. Then stability damage is increased from 1, 2, 3, and doubles to 6. As for her common key, she does give attack plus 5%, increased damage dealt towards enemies with electric type debuffs by 7%. So clearly this is going to be included in her kit. Okay, then her expansion key, once we have it, support attacks in overclock strike range is increased to 9 tiles. Number of support attacks is increased by 1. Critical damage dealt is increased against enemies afflicted with negative charge by 7. Critical damage dealt is further increased by 7 if the target is in stability break, which is again crucial that you make sure that your target is in stability break. At the start of the combat, with every electric element allies there are on the field, Leva's electric damage is increased by 2%, and stability damage dealt is increased by 1%. So this will come in handy once the expansion key arrives. For her fixed key, we do have a fixed key. Let's start with fixed key 2. Increased damage dealt towards enemies in stability break by 7, which is actually needed. Then at fixed key 6, at the start of the battle, gains overclock strike for 3 turns, which is actually handy as well. Fixed key 1 is optional at V6. So at the start of the battle, gains 2 stacks of superconductive code and confectance index 1. So you may not use this and may replace this only at V6, guys, only at V6. You may replace this with either fixed key 3 or 5. So if you're not bringing Belka, V1, or Andoris as a negative user, you may actually use fixed key 5. If you want to replace fixed key 1 is fixed key 3 for the dispel purpose. For a recommended weapon, if you do have Swarog, which most of you have, and Swarog right now I'm sure that you have this gun maxed out. This is, I feel, the best gun for her, especially if you are free to play. So you use this instead of getting her signature weapon, which is Cunning Fox, because this one ignores up to 20% of the target's defense, which is actually huge. Again, if you're free to play, that is the best weapon to use, or you may use Heckler and Koch UMP4T5. For her stoppages in terms of copies, again, V1 is important, increased level support attack, and improves ult cycling, significantly improving her damage output. The concern with V1 is that you'll be getting this as well with her mod key when it arrives. So basically, it's going to be redundant. So you could actually get Leva at V0 and wait for her mod key and not get V1. So you could do that, actually. At V3, greatly improved superconductive strike damage output, which is actually, I think, if you're investing in her, I think this is the first stopping point. Either you go V0, V1, V3. At V5, increases superconductive strike damage multiplier, significantly improving Leva's damage ability against stability broken enemies. This is also good, but might as well go to V6. So I would rather not place V5 here. So if you go with V1, you go to V3, or you go from V0, zero investment, wait for the mod key. If you want to have a stopping point before you go to V6, then go with V3. Then, instead of stopping at V5, might as well go to V6. So V0, V3, and V6. Again, if you're willing to wait for her mod key, you don't need to go to V1. V6 is going to give her a massive increase in damage output when she uses superconductive strike after any skill. So that is it. Again, Leva is still one of our best hyper carries, even in CN. One thing to note, if you're truly invested on a electric team, she is actually a must get. No question about it. There is no electric team without Leva. If you plan to mix her with other elements, I don't think that will work. You could probably slot in Yuhi with the electric team, but you cannot take Leva and mix her with other teams. Again, if you're solely going to be playing with or focus on an electric team, definitely get Leva. If you're mixing her, definitely not. Or again, if you plan to have her at V0, you could always borrow a V6 Leva just in case you want to bring your team in Gunsmoke. So that is it, guys. Those are my thoughts for Leva. Are you pulling for Leva? Comment down in the comment section. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.